So today we are talking about leg action, and we're going to take a closer look at Rory McIlroy's golf swing and look at exactly what he does so well and how that can help you. So welcome back to the Forest of Arden. The par 5 17th is behind me. We're talking about leg action, and more specifically we're going to take a look at Rory McIlroy's leg action and discuss exactly what you can learn from that. Just before we get started, if you're new to my channel, I would love you to be a subscriber. It is absolutely free, and it just means that you won't miss any of the content. There is a clickable link down below in the description, and also once you've done that, if you click the little bell icon as well, it just means you'll be notified each time I upload a video. So in today's video, you're going to learn about what Rory McIlroy does so well in his golf swing. You're going to learn about using the ground, you're going to learn about using your body angles correctly, and more importantly, we're going to give you a drill which is going to help you work on that and actually take it through to the golf course to give you generally some more consistency in your strike and probably a little bit more power as well. So we're going to start this video off by taking a look at Rory McIlroy's golf swing once his swing was put through the swing index, specifically looking at his lower body action. So let's take a look at that now.
So when Rory's swing was put into the swing index, he came out at an impressive 9.7 for his lower body action. And it really does two things for him, but what we're really going to focus on here is how it helps him generate the power. So as we look at it from the top, the first thing we're going to see is he starts to actually lower his belt line a little bit as he begins down. He also tends to push his pelvis a little bit away from the ball, so almost like a squatting type motion. Once he gets towards impact, almost the delivery position, we start to see this immense rotation of his lower body. But we also see this rising of the pelvis. You can see that from the belt line as it starts to get a little bit further from the ground as he starts to straighten his legs a little bit. And you can look at this as almost like a jumping move or a pushing away from the ground move. And it's these movements that Rory has in his golf swing which enable him to create, such incredible clubhead speed for someone who's not particularly tall, so doesn't have particularly long levers. And certainly pound for pound, Rory is going to be one of the longest hitters out there in the world. And we can link it back to how well he uses his lower body.
So, as we all know, very, very impressive golf swing. For someone who's not even 6 foot tall, he hits the ball absolutely miles. And it's partly down to his lower body action and what he does so well. And you'll see from that video, he's got a very, very pronounced sort of downward or squatting motion to begin down. And then when he gets closer to impact, he's got a very pronounced kind of pushing upward action through the golf ball. And those are the things that we're going to be looking at specifically today in this video. So we're going to reference a belt line. Now it might be difficult to see because I've got my jumper on, but we're going to look at the belt line and we're going to look at exactly what that should do or what that does in a good golf swing. It doesn't stay level. So from a starting position, we wouldn't really tend to see much change in the belt line up to the top of the golf swing. We'd see some rotation, but the belt line would stay in about the same place. But as we begin down, in these better players, these stronger players, these longer hitters, we often see as they begin to rotate, their belt line actually starts to lower a little bit. Now, I've potentially over-exaggerated that. So we've got rotation and we've got this kind of settling or squatting move. As they continue to rotate and get very close to this impact position, they start to take the flex that's in their knees and they start to, as they are rotating, they start to push and the belt line will start to raise again. So the belt line through the golf swing actually goes down as they start down and then it rises up through impact. And that's why we see, these longer hitters really have this look of this upward thrust through impact, because that's them really using the lower body effectively. And what we know they're doing there is they're using the power generated from the ground. They're using a force via their feet, via the ground to create that speed. So we're going to give you a little exercise here that's going to allow you to kind of sense and do this. And we just need to set up a very simple station. So I've got an alignment stick, just a simple alignment stick, and that's going to go behind me and it's going to be in contact with me as I take my starting position. So you'll see there, it's pretty much in contact with me, maybe just a slight gap, which is absolutely fine. Now, what we would tend to see from the golfers who are the weaker hitters, who are the poorer strikers, is they'll often stay fairly close to that as they go back, but their first movement down will actually be an upward movement with the hips, moving away from that alignment stick. The complete opposite to what we've seen Rory McIlroy do. So the distance between the alignment stick and their tailbone gets greater and the belt line starts to rise. Now, as that's starting to rise, they then will generally stall out the rotation and start to get the hands working down towards the golf ball, because they otherwise won't be able to reach that golf ball. We see lots of stall out in the body, lots of flip. So what I'd love you to try and do here is make some rehearsals from the top where you feel like you're going to lower your boat line and make contact with the stick. So as I rotate, I'm feeling like I'm lowering my belt line and making contact with the stick. I'm creating some more angles in my body. Now what that's going to do is going to allow me to get my lead hand and the butt end of the club lower at this point here, which is just outside my trail thigh. From here, if I was to just uncock my wrists, I would probably start to hit the ground a little early. So now I'm encouraged to rotate and start to use the flex that's in my legs and start to extend out through to a finish. And this is where we see most of the best players, this extended tall finish, because they've extended through the ground. Now, there's a lot of skill that needs to happen here. Because there's a little bit of an up and down motion, and we have to strike that ball well, and we have to hit the ball followed by the ground, the movement itself is present in most golf swings, but they have a lot of skill. If you try this for the first time, you may start to find your strike starts to get a little inconsistent. That's absolutely normal, that's kind of what we'd expect. But a bit of practice and a bit of timing, you'll be able to get that. So, you're going to make some rehearsals, as we just described there, up, down to here, and then push up and through. And then once we've done a few of those, we can go ahead and hit it. And what you'll find is actually when you hit it for real, you're not going to see as quite a pronounced movement as the rehearsal. But I struck that pretty well. That's into the middle of the green. And that's probably only about 15-20 feet away from the flag. Struck the ball nicely, but hopefully you can see some good leg action there where we see a little bit of a settling action, the tailbone going a little bit behind me, and then as we rotate through, we can extend up. And that's very, very often what the longest hitters are all doing. As I say, if you're a short hitter struggling with strike, you might well be actually extending those hips far too soon, and then you're left with just kind of releasing the hands early at it. Lots of stall out here. Weak, no strike, loss of speed, no distance, all those things that many golfers really struggle with. So, leg action like Rory McIlroy, you can achieve it. You just need to do a bit of practice, get yourself a very simple alignment stick, get to the range, hit some balls, work on those movements, and I'm sure you'll see consistency, distance, all the things, maybe not quite to the level of Rory McIlroy, but certainly probably a little bit better than you're doing now, and that's going to hopefully translate to some lower scores. Thank you very much for watching. Usual stuff is down below, comments box down there, like button, and also the subscribe over here. Give that a click. Means you won't miss any of the future videos. Thanks for watching.